Hello and welcome to the second and final lesson of Module 6. We're going to look at special cases of what we did last lesson. So multiply squared binomials and conjugates. Conjugates is a new word. We'll be taking a look at that in a little bit. So x plus 3 squared. A lot of people want to do x squared plus 9. They'll say x squared plus 9 and be done. Don't do that. Be careful. When it's an exponent of 2, it means whatever's inside the parentheses, you're going to multiply it by itself. So I'm going to write this as x plus 3 times x plus 3. And now I'm going to do x times x, like we did in the last lesson, x times 3, 3 times x, and 3 times 3. Simplify each of those. X times x is x squared, x times 3, 3x, 3x, and 9. 3x plus 3x makes 6x. Okay. Notice how if you try to do the shortcut, it doesn't give you the right answer. The right answer is x squared plus 6x plus 9. If you just square both pieces and say x squared plus 9, you're missing that middle term. This is a special case of multiplying a square or a binomial times itself. So a plus b squared, there is a formula for it. It's a squared plus 2ab plus b squared. If you look back at the problem that we just did, the middle term, there was a 3x and a 3x. So it was a is the first term, b is the second term. So you multiplied a, or x in this case, times 3 twice. That's what the 2ab means. You're taking the first term plus the last term, times the last term, and then multiplying that by 2 because there's 2 of them. And then you just square a and square b, and you have your answer. Let's try to use that shortcut on this one. So 3x minus 4 squared. The a value here is 3x. It's the first term, so 3x squared. Then we do 2 times 3x and negative 4. Negative 4 is b. And then negative 4, since it's b, we have to square that as well. So let's simplify all of this. 3x squared is 3x times 3x, which is 9x squared. 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times negative 4 is negative 24x. And then negative 4 squared is positive 16. Okay. If you don't want to use that shortcut, let me go back. If you don't want to use the shortcut on this one, you can just do 3x minus 4 times 3x minus 4 and multiply it out like we did in the last lesson. You'll get the same answer. All right, next one. Looks almost the same, but not quite. There's something slightly different. One of these has a plus and one of them has a negative. Let's see what happens. X times x is x squared. X times negative 3 is negative 3x. 3 times x is 3x. And 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. When I combine like terms, negative 3x and negative 3x cancel. They make 0x. And all I'm left with is a negative 9 at the end. X squared minus 9. These are called conjugates. Conjugates are different forms of the same thing. So in this case, it's identical terms with opposite signs in the middle. So you saw that. X plus 3, x minus 3. The two terms were exactly the same. The only difference was the sign in the middle. So here's what happens when you have that. When you have that, you go a squared minus b squared. You'll hear me say that's the difference of squares. Okay, so you might hear that in a few weeks. All right, so let's do this one. If you see it right away that these two are conjugates of each other, they're exactly the same except for their signs, you know the middle term is going to cancel. So you can just take the shortcut. What's 3x times 3x? 9x squared. And 5 times negative 5 is negative 25. And you're done. And that actually concludes lesson 2 and concludes new material for the week.